Well, my friends, it has been a very long time since I have been on here, and I can only apologise. And as you can see, I've got my new Deadly Departed hat and my Deadly Departed t-shirt. In this video, guys, I'm going to answer a question that came to me that I've talked to many people about, and it's whether we can be possessed, whether you can be possessed or obsessed or have a spiritual problem from going and seeing psychics, mediums, or tarot readers, that kind of thing. So I'm going to answer that, and it might not be exactly what you think. Again, guys, welcome to Deadly Departed, and thank you for being with me. I will be right back, and we'll get straight into it. God bless. Okay guys, welcome back, and again, welcome and thank you for being with us. And again, I am really sorry for it taking so long in getting back here, but with moving house and COVID and everything else has been going on, there's been so many things to deal with. I just haven't had the time to dedicate the way that I wanted to. But now that things have started to settle down a little bit, I am back and I'm answering that question. I'm not going to waffle on too much, but let me know below what you think of my new t-shirt. What you think? Well, here, let's go to here. My badge here and my hat, and these will be available if people actually want them. I'll be running a few giveaways just shortly with it as well. So let's just jump into it. I had a question that came to me, and I've spoken about this many times to people, and it's whether going and seeing a psychic, a medium, a tarot reader, whether you can actually be possessed by them. And I'm not going to talk about the person, the individual, the reader, who the sitter, who is going to go and see that reader or see that psychic or see that medium, because I want to talk about that in another video, because there's other questions that have said. I've got absolutely tons of questions that's come in since I've been off. I've got so much that I can teach and answer. So let's talk about this. Here's the thing. It's not so much the tool or that is going to cause the possession or the obsession. And I don't want to also just talk about this in the realm of a kind of spiritual possession or a demonic possession or anything like this, but even attachments or having kind of spiritual intrusions that can actually cause some problems in your life. Yes, there's issues that you need to think about as a sitter. And is that sitter, has that sitter been drinking, or has that sitter been on drugs, or is that sitter, are they the right person? Can they come and have a reading? But what do you think? What do you think it is about the actual person that is actually doing the reading or doing the sitting? What is it about them that could cause it? Well, in reality, ladies and gentlemen, it's not so much about the tarot card or the tool or what they're actually using. It's them themselves. You see. The simple answer to the question is yes. Yes, you could be influenced by a malevolent spirit or by a grounded spirit. You could be, okay? Because we know very well that there is many charlatans out there, and we know very well there's a lot of people that are touting themselves as psychics or mediums, and they're not ready, or they haven't been trained well enough, and they don't have enough power of discernment. And so what it actually boils down to is them, okay? Let's see, if you were a person who was, a criminal, and you you would be in the criminal fraternity. You would be in tow with all the criminals that is out there. You would be in that circle of friends, or that circle around you would be full of the criminal underworld. And so as you're in that circle and you're in that underworld, you're going to attract that type of person, because it's all about vibrational match. Now, if we talk about vibrational match and we think about that as an analogy, you know, you're a criminal or something like that. Now, you see in many other videos and other mediums have said, if you're someone who drinks an awful lot, or maybe you have an alcohol problem, and we know that spirits can can get attached to you if you're weak spiritually. And you can end up having, a spirit attachment, and of course, then we can go into another video where we talk about piggyback spirits and all that kind of stuff. But you can see what happens is like attracts like. The vibration that matters, and the vibration attracts that type of spirit, or that individual, you know. So you'll have a spirit who is maybe an alcoholic that gets attached to an alcoholic because they want to feel that again. Okay, so the same in the criminal fraternity, in that circle that you're in, you're going to attract that criminal attraction is there. You're going to attract the people that are into that crime or involved in that. So you are going to be in that environment, and your vibration is going to be matching that environment. Therefore, you will attract it. Now, if you are going to sit with, and I'm speaking directly now to someone who's considering going to a medium or a psychic or something, invariably it's not the tools that cause it. Yes, there can be times where a tool, there can be caused portals and all sorts of things that can happen. But really what is boiling down to is the actual person that is doing the reading. Because not all mediums are full of light. Not all mediums live a good life. Not all psychics live a good life. There are many out there that I know that have been that are on drugs and they're doing it. You know, so you got to think about that. You got to think about if that psychic or that medium doesn't live a clean life. And I've done another video, so go to that video. In the list that's in there, you'll see that there's a video actually called about living a clean life. Okay, I did it a long time ago, but it gives you the whole idea. Now, if that medium is not living a clean life, and it's very questionable how they're actually living their life, the chances are that their vibration will attract that on the other side as well. So if you are going and you're suffering through grief, or you're going to have a tarot reading or something, yes, you could actually attract that into your life by the catalyst of the medium's vibration. It's not just about, I've heard that this medium is good, or I've heard that this psychic is good and they gave me a good reading. You also want to think about, what type of person is that person? Is that person, are they confrontational? What is it about them? You need to talk to other people that have maybe had their experiences and can tell you that they're a lovely person. I went to sit with Susie or whatever it was, and she was beautiful and she was lovely, and you could feel that love and that energy there, and 9 out of 10 you're going to be okay there. Okay, so the reality is that the medium's vibration, the way that they live their life, if they don't live a prayerful life, if they don't live a life that is clean as possible, where they're trying to watch their mind, where they're trying to watch how they speak about other people, or where they're trying to be very attentive in their outward spiritual vibration, not how they look, because a lot of people can come across spiritual and absolutely be not spiritual at all. But if they're really proactive in trying to live an exemplary life as they can, then they are going to be vibrating at a higher vibrational level, and they're going to be able to attract that same level of spirit from the other side, and therefore they're going to be able to get better information and better knowledge. And no matter what tools they're using, if you're going for a tarot set, and I used to read tarot actually, I'm going to use for a tarot, it's not the tool that's inherently dangerous, it's the person, it's the catalyst behind it, it's the individual that is using the tool. And that same goes for your mediumship side of things as well, and or you're going for a reading, that's the same thing. Is if that medium or that psychic is questionable by the way that they live or by their own. See, you can't stalk a medium online and start to find out what they're doing on social media or something, or whether they're a living person. But you will know. You'll definitely know. You would question whether you were going to go to somewhere that had, you know, a psychic palm reader or something, because there's a lot of negativity that comes with that. There's a lot of gypsies that put, you know, talking about curses and things. But essentially, that medium that you're going to, or that psychic that you're going to, you do want to try and learn a bit more about them. What is their background? Okay, what is their how do they come across when they're maybe on social? Because everybody checks on social media, don't they? You know, a lot of things that's happening now because of COVID. It's all online, so you have to be aware of the vibration of that person. And so, if you go to someone who's not trained well enough, or who doesn't have the requisite skills and has not got the requisite development, who doesn't try to live a spiritual clean life, and I don't mean wearing caftans and sandals, but being aware of their mind, being aware of how they treat others, being aware of how they talk to others, being aware of every aspect, then you want to maybe try and consider whether that person's the right for you. If they're a person who drinks an awful lot, or who takes drugs, or who maybe takes a bit of dope, or maybe, you know, these things do play into what you attract. Okay, like attracts like. Remember that, guys. So when you're choosing a spiritual counselor, when you're choosing a medium, you need to be attracted to them, and I don't mean physically, but you need to have a feeling of they're the right person. So many times people have reached out to me, and I only really, you know, sit with people on referrals and stuff like that, but some people have reached out and they you know, the vibration is there, or they feel you, and there's a connection there, and you can make that connection with that individual. You just know. I've had someone that's approached us and said, I just know that you were the right person. I could feel it from you. I've seen you, I've watched you. And it's not about how famous somebody is, but try and think about the life that they are leading as well, and the life that you're leading. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the sitter, and about the sitter's position, and you know, the life of the sitter, and when you should and when you shouldn't go for sittings and things like that. But for this point that I want to make is that, in answer to that question, yes, you can be possessed. Now, let's go on to the second part of this video. So, you can be possessed and you can be obsessed by an impending, an infiltrating spirit. And the second part, I want to tell you how that would actually happen. So we've understood that things come from like attracts like, okay? And that maybe that person lives a negative life. Maybe that person is a massive gossip. Maybe that person, you know, is less than honest about things, or maybe they're involved in crime. It's not to say that there's people out there that are touting themselves as mediums and stuff and not involved in naughty things. Or maybe they don't pray, maybe they don't try to live a good life that way. Then you can be assured that what they're attracting, they also may not have the discernment to be able to recognize that vibration of that spirit. And so it's very easy then for a negative influence in spirit, a malevolent intelligence, to dupe the medium and trick the medium. And before you know it, you have a situation where the medium has now got an attachment that they can't discern, and they're talking to someone that they think is their guide. It's not their guide. And before you know it, the relationship starts to happen with that sitter, and therefore then the sitter starts to get bad feelings, or after the reading, things start to happen. Maybe they take an attachment home with them from the actual sitter that they've been with, because that spirit on the other side thinks that's an easier target than this medium or this psychic here, and I've got a way in because they're grieving, or they're down, or they're open themselves, or they have a less than spiritual life, and they can then attach to that sitter and then start causing problems, or you take that spirit home with you. It's happened in many occasions where people have gone to readings and actually ended up having some problems. And I would love to hear from anybody that's watching this, if you have been to a psychic or a medium and things went bad for you and you started feeling bad about things afterwards, and maybe you actually had some paranormal phenomena that happened because you went you went there and something happened. I want to know about it. I want you to reach out and I want you to tell me that story. Well, actually, I'm glad we've put the light on there. So think about that, guys. It's very important that the person that you choose is the right person, because if they are attracting the negative spirits, those spirits will use whatever they can to influence you. And there's a lot of obsession goes on. I'm not talking about pure possession, because that can go into, that's another lesson where we're talking then about going a deeper level of obsession, infestation, etc., etc. And you can end up taking spirits home that will infest your home and then attract other spirits on the other side that will bring them to you. So it's not just about going and sitting and having a reading with a medium or a psychic. You have to be very careful if that is the right person for you, and if you vibrate with them, if you're connected in some way, if you can feel that love and that connection, then that's brilliant, and you probably will never have any problems. But think about it, there is a lot of unscrupulous people out there, especially at the moment, that are making a living, because it's easy to do. The COVID medium, I wrote an article on this on Jo.my magazine, the COVID medium that's happened. So many people are out trying to tout themselves out there, and they're not necessarily trained, ready, or able to discern, and they don't live a spiritual type life. You know, I would not want to be in that circle. It's almost like throwing yourself into that criminal circle and then attracting that side of things. So if you've got any questions, guys, please reach back to me. Let me know, especially if you have been and had a sit-in and things have happened to you. I know a lot of people won't agree with everything I say, but listen, it's there. It's, you know, there's warnings about spirit infestation. There's warnings about bad spirits on the other side. You cannot have, you cannot understand good without understanding evil. You cannot, there's, you know, the yin and yang. We only understand good because we understand what evil is, or we have an appreciation for what something is negative is. Because if that was the case, and there was no evil and there was no badness, or there was nothing, we wouldn't really know what goodness is, because we'd be living in that continual state with nothing, which means that there would be no growth either. So that's not the way it is. There is negativity on the other side, and you have to be careful. So you know, can you be possessed by the tarot cards and everything else by going to the wrong medium or the wrong psychic? Yes, you can, because you don't know what their vibration is at. So you have to be very careful who you choose, guys. There will be a second follow-up video on this, and we'll talk about it from the sitter side of things, and we'll go a little bit deeper. Got any questions, guys? Reach out to me. As always, I am on Instagram. Please connect with me on Instagram at Spiritual Medium. And I will be doing a giveaway soon, so you can get one of my hats, and I'll be doing that very soon, and also for the t-shirt as well. So stay safe. I'm glad to be back. If you've got any questions that you are frightened to ask publicly and underneath here or anything, then just reach out to me on Instagram. A lot of people do, and that's where a lot of people ask their questions anyway. So have a wonderful time, guys, and I will see you in the next video. God bless.